quite difficult for a video game to scare me. Actually, it's pretty difficult for a video game to elicit any kind of emotions from me, particularly fear, laughter, or sadness. No, this doesn't mean I don't experience immersion. I'm just not easily scared. And with that manly bullshit out of the way, I can safely say Farpoint did freak me out with those creatures that lunge towards your face every chance they get in VR. And if memory serves me correctly, Until Dawn Rush of Blood got me with some of its frequent jump scares as well. With that said, today's question is, what's the scariest game you've ever played?
I'm not one to be scared by games, especially games on the screen. But the closest thing that came to scaring me is the Brook experiment, which is a VR game. VR meaning interaction. So basically the game is where you're in a little box. You're not supposed to come out of that box, and you're supposed to protect yourself from the zombies, and you have a flashlight and a gun. That was definitely too close to home. That's the scariest game I've played so far.
So my scariest game would probably have to be this older game. I'm not sure how many people might know it. It's called Fear. The acronym stands for First Encounter Assault Recon, but me and my friends more affectionately called it Fuck Everything and Run. It's a 2005 single player and multiplayer horror game, first person shooter based. You're basically you're the leader of a group that responds to supernatural occurrences, and you have to figure out how to utilize your supernatural powers to combat the evil that you are put out into the world against. And yeah, I had a lot of scary nights with my friends, staying up late hours until the sun came up, and it was no joke. The use of music in that game and jump scares took everything to like a whole nother level. Definitely the scariest game I've ever played.
The scariest game I've ever played, and I'm not gonna stop saying this, is Resident Evil. Resident Evil. Please don't let me play that game. If you love me as a person, don't suggest that game to me. Yo, when I kill stuff's supposed to stay dead. It ain't supposed to come back and grow like 5 extra limbs. That's not supposed to happen in life. So the fact that that's in a video game really disturbs me, and I low-key could not sleep at night after playing it. So please, Resident Evil, just stop.
This is not good.
So the scariest video game that I've ever played was Silent Hill 2. Now it's been a while since I played that game. However, for what I remember of it, it was not something that was cutesy or anything you'd consider to be just alright. Like with the nurses with the knives, and you having to, trying to escape them to the pyramid. This guy with a huge pyramid and this huge sword. It's terrifying. At least it was for me, And I remember there are times where as soon as you hear the music, this alarm going off, you had to, secure yourself. It was a terrifying thing. It would seem realistic, and well, of course, the movie to it. So of course, that just brought you in, knowing that you have the movie, and then the game just pulls you in. So that was quite an experience. I enjoyed it, but definitely the most scariest video game that I've ever played.
I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
The scariest game that I have ever played, that would be Dead Space 2. Why Dead Space 2? Because I did not know about Dead Space 1. I actually got introduced to this game by my ex-boyfriend. Was playing it. I found it quite interesting. I was like, oh, this is cool. I played like 30 minutes of it, and then after that I gave up. The game is actually about some necromorphs taking over a spaceship, and the main character Isaac just needs to get rid of them all and get back to where they were coming from. And yeah, I found all of that totally creepy, scary, various jump scares. They legit made them to freak you out, and I gave up completely. But it was a cool game.
Okay, so this whole thing about the scariest game I've ever played, it's kind of hard. All right, so I'm gonna go with my childhood one, which is number one, but then I'm gonna go with a second one for when I'm older, because it's two different fears in two different age. As a child, the game that scared me the most, Friday the 13th on the NES. You're walking down, everything's good, you have your rock, you're hitting the enemies with the rock, and the next thing you know, you turn around, boom, Jason is there, and he'll chop you, and you just die. I'm like, what? Like, that game, when I was a kid, that scared me to the point I was trying to play the game quietly, so my father didn't know I was playing video games, and I yelled, ah! And my father was like, Isaiah! And I'm like, you playing the game? And that's how I got caught. That was a real scare. Outside of that, I've never been scared by another game until I played this game, and it's not even a horror game. The game is more like you have to play, it's on the Nintendo 64 called Hexen. That game was like Doom with medieval weapons, and the demons and the sorcerers and the monsters that come after you, you feel like, I felt like it was like, the reason why I'm not scared of games like Doom is because you have the big mother gun. So I don't care who comes and fights me, I just pull out my gun and I shoot them. But in Hexen, you have these demon spawns coming after you, and you gotta kill them with your Celtic holy sword and an axe. And you're slicing them and they're still coming at you, and you're like, ah! So, you know, when I got older, like, that was the game that scared me when I was older. But outside of Hexen and Friday the 13th, those are the two most scariest games in my life.
Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below or on Twitter which game sent those chills up your spine. If you like my content, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I've also created a Patreon page. It's still under construction, but should you feel inclined, become a patron and help this weak-ass channel out. On the other hand, if this vid pissed you off, then hey, take necessary action. The dislike and unsubscribe buttons aren't there for show. Either way, I won't hold it against you. Our game is never over.